I'm sure we can all agree, there's just something about a good mystery that is very enticing. They cause you to want to go search for the answer until you find it. And of course, the NBA has plenty of mysteries that are just waiting to be solved. So today, we just might go ahead and solve some of them. If that sounds good to you, then stick around and enjoy the video. What do students in school, people at the office, players on the b-ball court, and gamers all have in common? They've all yelled,
Kobe!
Kobe! Kobe!
Kobe! Kobe! Kobe!
Whether it's throwing a crumpled up piece of paper in the trash can, releasing a shot during a pickup game, or while chucking a grenade in your favorite video game, we've all channeled our inner Kobe as we did something that involved accuracy.
When the world just started filming themselves and being like, Kobe! Like, did it blow your mind how big that got?
Yeah, it did. It did.
That must be crazy for you. Like, I can't imagine seeing little kids scream Max when they shoot it.
It's funny, man. It's a good feeling to have that you influence the game like that, even when we're shooting in trash cans. I mean, I try to do it too, and I try to yell Kobe when I shoot in a trash can, but it doesn't really work.
Depending on your age, you might have yelled Jordan if you happen to be on the older side, or even Curry if you're on the younger side. But by and large, yelling Kobe out loud was the phrase to use. It's pretty obvious why people yell Kobe after shooting something, but have you ever wondered where it originated? Okay, probably not, but I'ma tell you anyways. Alright, so believe it or not, some say that Dave Chappelle actually started it. Let's go all the way back to 2003, when Season 1, Episode 12 aired. And in that episode, Chappelle did a skit explaining how to pay homage to certain players.
You're under arrest. Rasheed Wallace. Spreewell. Paul Pierce. Oh.
So this begs the question, was this the very first time somebody used the famous Kobe phrase?
Kobe.
Well, there's no way to know for sure, but I will say this. That episode definitely gave it a boost in pop culture. After that, people really started using it. It's also been said that people used to use the phrase as far back as 1999 in the game Counter-Strike. That's pretty crazy considering how long ago that was. All in all, although there may not be a concrete source to point to, I still think it's interesting to think about where it possibly originated from. I'm sure I'm not the only one kinda confused about Andre Drummond's nickname, the Big Penguin. It's probably the most bizarre nickname in the game today.
Andre Drummond, Andre the Giant, or as he's referred to, the Big Penguin. That's his nickname, right?
Yeah!
When I first heard it, I was like, why did he choose to go with that? Well, actually, he didn't choose it. In fact, he says he has no idea where the nickname came from.
Listen, man, I don't know where that came from. Bron came up to me one day and said, yo, is your nickname Big Penguin? I said, man, I don't know where that came from, or how it started, or who came up with the name. All I know is somebody must have found out that penguins are one of my favorite animals, and it kind of just, I guess, put two and two together.
He claims to not know how he got that name, but that just doesn't add up. He was clearly not telling the truth, and here's why. Back in 2012, which was his rookie year, Drummond sat down with Greg Monroe for an interview, and perhaps this is when and where the Big Penguin was born.
Top three favorite movies of all time. You probably gonna look at me like I'm crazy as I tell you these three. My number one probably be March of the Penguins, and then Happy Feet 1 and 2. I'm guessing you love penguins. My favorite animal is penguins. No, obviously my favorite animal is a moose, so maybe we start calling the Big Penguin. Maybe we start calling the Big Penguin.
So boom, it looks like we solved the mystery of the nickname's origin, even though Andre Drummond for some reason seems to have forgotten all about that. Not too long ago, like I would say early 2020, Colin Sexton of the Cleveland Cavaliers was catching some eyes, but not for his play on the court. People started to notice something strange about his face, which caused many to hop on social media to ask about what was possibly going on, and they immediately jumped to conclusions. They accused the man of bleaching his skin, you know, just like Sammy Sosa did. I mean, just look at this before and after picture. There was definitely a drastic change of some sort, and it looked like it was only happening to his face and didn't match the rest of his body, which meant there was probably a simpler explanation. Some say that it was apparently related to an acne treatment he was using, and that there was no reason why people should be freaking out at all. It was just temporary. Regardless, it seemed to have zero effect on his play, because he actually played great during that particular stretch, even though there was something definitely being done to alter his skin tone. For many years, there was this legendary rumor going around that Dikembe Mutombo would walk into nightclubs and simply shout, "Who wants to sex Mutombo?" as a pickup line to get girls. And eventually, the phrase took on a life of its own and became somewhat of a meme. The rumor never stopped following Mutombo, so he had to put this to an end once and for all when he made an appearance on the show Highly Questionable back in 2014.
Is it true that Dikembe Mutombo used to walk in his heyday, in the glory days of his life, used to walk into a nightclub, you know what I'm gonna ask too, used to walk into a place and say,
Don't believe on that crack. I know where you're going with that. I know where you're going.
Keep going, keep going.
Let me tell you, let me give you something.
That's
I
not
always
true.
ask everybody who came up with that.
oh, it's so
First of all,
disappointing.
Dikembe straight up denied it, so we had no choice but to take his word for it. But not so fast. That didn't stop them from asking one more time when Dikembe's former Georgetown teammate Alonzo Mourning made an appearance on the show a short time later, and his answer was a lot different.
Who wants to sex Mutombo?
You've heard it. You've heard it, haven't you?
Is the story true? We need to know if the story is true.
You've heard it before.
That's a confirmation.
Yeah, there's some truth to that. There's some truth to that. That was his pickup line, yeah. And it worked. It worked, too.
Now, of course it makes sense for Mutombo to deny it. I mean, that's what you would expect to hear from him. But for Alonzo Mourning, he had nothing to gain or lose from this at all. So that's why I choose to believe him. He had no hesitation confirming it. Back in October of 2017, the Oklahoma City Thunder were headed to their next game, and as usual, experienced some turbulence here and there throughout the flight. But when they landed, they were left with a shocking surprise. They noticed there was a huge dent in the nose of the plane, and pondered about what possibly could have caused this. It was said that it was likely a bird that caused the damage, which are known to collide with aircrafts. But others say that it was no bird at all, because most birds aren't even capable of flying that high.
Delta is saying that a bird is what caused this damage on the descent. I don't believe them, Jalen Rose. There's only one explanation for this. This proves that UFOs exist, does it not?
At the end of the day, they obviously hit something in the sky, but I guess we'll never know, as this mystery will remain unsolved.